First of all of this. The mic is not on. Hold it closer. Because of Hoshanna, not only did all of this happen, and thank you to Hoshanna and also others arranging with Adele, we had a family, a night away with our family. You know, this is in my ear, so it's hard to, okay. So thank you for graciously opening up your home to us. And thank you to Hoshanna because of you, I relearned Kohelet. I will actually share, I don't know if anybody here does the Nach Yomi program through the OU Women's Initiative, but it was last year that we were learning Kohelet on Sukkot. And it was, I think, the fifth parak that we were learning on Erev Simchat Torah, which is really wild. I always find that Hashem arranges things beyond. During the Shabbatot Nechemta of this year, we were learning Yeshayahu. It's just amazing how he arranges. I don't know how he does it, but he just secret. But yes, that is what we were learning last year. And then I actually will say right after that, we started learning Megillat Esther, which was now right after Sukkot, right after we finished absorbing the initial shock. And then you're reading Esther and talking about there's Am Echad Mefuzar Mefurad. The nation is a diverse and scattered nation. And Esther comes and Lech Knosset Kol HaYudim, gather everybody together. You have to be in on this all together, work together, fast. And then ultimately the Geula came from that. So Be'ezrat Hashem, we will see the Geula coming from all of this. Just as Mordechai and Esther were Moser Nefesh, and all the different Geulot, all the different Guluses that we had, there was a lot of Moser Nefesh. And the greater the Misirut Nefesh, the self-sacrifice, the greater the Geula came afterwards. And if there's something that the Youngs and the Airleys, and I'm sure everybody in here knows somebody who knows this war, you don't have to go so far to be so far removed to know somebody directly, to know the level of Misirut Nefesh that is going on from October 7th till today. So as I'm learning and as we were going through Kohelet on Shabbos, one pasuk in particular stood out for me. And I will share why in a minute, but I'll tell you, that is the very beginning of Parak Zayin. Tov Shem Mishemen. Tov Shem Mishemen Tov. It's better to have a good name than good oil. V'yom hamavet miyom hivaldo. And the day of death is greater than the day of birth. I will actually just stop here before I even continue to share something very personal, actually. The reason this is more personal than all the other psukim, in addition to one would say the obvious, but tonight is actually Binyamin's Yom Huvaldo. Tonight is actually Binyamin's birthday. The night of Hoshanna Rabbah is the night that he was born, which is why I'm also a little short on time. I'm going home to have a party in our sukkah and the learning with Binyamin's friends, and we will drink a l'chaim. And that is what is going on tonight when I got home. Be'ezrat Hashem. And for all of you, you get a little birthday present from Binyamin, because my Hannah, our youngest, she's 10. She actually said she's up for saying a few words. Is that okay? I didn't know this either. She just told me. Binyamin's doing his things already. No, it's okay.
Hi, my name is Hannah.
You gotta speak up louder, though.
Hi, my name is Hannah. And I'm Benjamin's sister. And basically he was always by my side, and he would always, when I would play games with my brothers and we would start fighting, he would always help me and only me, not anybody else. And there's a story that I like the most about him, that basically there was one time where he went on a hike with his pluga, and he at the starting he was one of the back ones trying to get to the front because it was a very hard hike. And then he and then and then at like one of the last ones, he had to do it a bunch of times. He would be or the front because he's good, or the back because he was trying to help people get to the front, like pushing people.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing with us. Binyamin continues to send us gifts all the time. And that was just, one of the little kisses that we got from Binyamin. Thank you, Hannah, for bravely coming up here and holding a microphone. I share that this is new for all of us. I'm not a public speaker. I'm an exercise physiologist. I teach exercise classes. I'm a personal trainer and I teach mountain biking. Like this is not my job that I thought. In fact, it was just last year I told my husband, oh, I think I should sign up for public speaking courses because it's just something good to know. I never ended up doing the course, but Hashem basically just said, listen, Jen, I know you think you know what you're doing, but I'm going to show you. I've got something else in mind for you. And Airley family, you think that you are continuing on your little private life and you just have your little Shabbos company at home. But let me tell you something. I have another plan for you. Oh, you think you bought a house in Sfat that you're using for Airbnbs? I got another plan for you. It's used for Beit Binyamin. It's now a retreat center in Sfat. This is how Hashem basically says, like, I'm gonna just show you, this chach really to me. Like we know, why? What's the mitzvah of sitting in a sukkah? Because it's reminding us, and also the ananei hakavod. The last 11 months has been our ananei hakavod have been shown. Okay, now go. No, now you stop. Now you get to rest for a day. No, let's go again. Now we're going to keep going. Now I'm going to take you here. Now we've had ananei hakavod moving us and telling us where to go, where to be, and we try and follow. So the significance of this is also a very special chag. I want to continue a little bit in the pasuk, and then we'll go back a few bits. Tov lalechet el beit avel, milechet el beit mishteh. Better to go to a house of mourning than to a house of a mishteh, like Esther, right? From like a party. Better to go to a house of mourning than to a house of simcha, basically. Ba'asher hu so kol adam v'chai yitena libo. I'm going to continue. You know what? I'm going to stop here. I want to talk a little bit about this idea of better is a day of death than the day of birth. And I'm going to bring the Torah Tamima, which basically is from the Gemara, explaining what is this? What does that mean? And he says so beautifully, he says, essentially, once you are born, you're already heading to death. We all know this is a very famous idea in Kohelet, right? We're all going to die, some earlier, some later. But when you were born, kshamet, when you die, hold on. Ela kenolad, when you are born, en lismoach, hold on one second, I'm sorry. Nolad adam, hakol smechim. When somebody is born, everybody's happy. And met, hakol bochin, when somebody dies, everybody cries. Ve'eno ken, it shouldn't really be that way. Ela nolad adam, en lismach bo. When somebody dies, when somebody is born, you shouldn't really be so celebratory. You shouldn't be celebrating. Why? She'en yodim im tzadik or rashaya. You don't know if this person is going to be a righteous one or a rasha. Now, mate, when he dies, tzrichin lismoach. Sheniftar b'shem tov v'yatza min ha'olam b'shalom. He left the world with a great name, and he left in peace. And this is what it means when it says tov shem tov mishemen tov v'yom hamavet miyom hivaldo. You see, when somebody is born, they really don't have a name, but they have no reputation. We don't know anything about them yet. What are their potentials? What will they strive to? What will they actually reach it? But we know when it says shemen, when we talk about what all the other liquids, yeah? All the other liquids, you mix water with, apple juice and mixes. You mix water with, anything, orange.
Except oil.
Except oil, it stays separate. And not just separate, it rises above. It's distinct. It's distinctive. It's separate on a higher level. And this is what Shemin Tov is. Now, when you go to a Beit Musar, Beit Avel, why do we talk about going to a Beit Avel is more important? Because when you go to a Beit Avel, not going to a party. When you go to a party, what are you watching? People drunk. What are you learning from that? When you go to a Beit Avel, you are learning from them Musar. You're learning values. You're learning from the person. You're learning their greatness. We're meant to be watching, learning from people that we see. Everything that we see in our lives is meant for us to see. Otherwise, we wouldn't see it. I can give you endless stories of things that I saw that nobody else saw, or things that I didn't see that other people saw. I go running all the time. I find, things that are gneza on the floor. Hashem shows us things that we are meant to see. If you don't see it, the other wasn't meant for you. Now, that means that when you go to a house of Avel and you learn from somebody, or you hear a hesped and you learn from somebody, it is meant for you to learn from. And if there's anything that we have learned in these last 11, 12 months now, is that we learned from so many awesome neshamot that went up to Shamayim. And we have learned from them the greatest things. I say when a soldier is killed, he gets a higher ranking. Yeah. They go up in rank. They literally do. They spiritually do. And they figuratively do for all of us. And we are meant to also raise our ranks as we learn from these people. I want to tie this into Sukkot a little bit, and then I'm going to go backwards. We know Sukkot has basically two mitzvot. The Torah talks about, in Emor talks about the mitzvah of taking the arba minim, and simcha. V'samachtem lifnei Hashem Elokechem. Yafe. So we have two mitzvot. Again, later in Parshas Re'eh, it also talks about v'samachta b'chagecha. Great. A lot of emphasis on simcha. Now we have these two mitzvot. If I were to ask you the two d'oraita mitzvot, this is going to be a tiny bit interactive. Two d'oraita mitzvot, which one do you think is more important? If one has to override, or which one do you think is a little more of a challenge? I know the men probably would say ulakachta because they're trying to juggle the talis with the arba minim, with their Hoshannas holding, and that they're trying to hold everything around and figure out where they're going and not getting lost in their circles, perhaps. But we're in the mitzvah for that. I think Rav Bitterman talks about this. The mitzvah of ulakachtem lachem is on the first day of Chag. V'samachta b'chagecha is the whole Chag. Gives reason to understand that one might have a little more of a demand. But we definitely know this year that there's one that has a little more of a challenge than the other. I said at the first day of Chag, this year was actually going to be a challenge, like an avoda. We're not just taking for granted we hear music and we all dance. It's actually some work. But we also know that when we put in work, we appreciate more. And that is why, like the Rav was talking about this, it's going to be easier to dance, I think, than it's ever been. Because we're working so hard to be besimcha. And I think we'll just be channeling all of our emotions, please Hashem, into dancing with the Sifrei Torah, but I'll try and get to that soon. So now let's talk about the sukkah a tiny bit. This idea of a sukkah. What is it about the sukkah that makes it so Kohelet-like? So temporary, these temporary houses. We're coming from our very comfortable, very beautiful apartments. We have every need, every air conditioning, every setting on everything. And we're meant to be coming into a place that, I don't know, it's amazing, this sukkah here, the schach looks perfect, but I've seen sukkahs around this area. They've either fallen over or the schach hole fell in. But this is what happens. This is what's meant to happen. It's temporary. Binyamin, one of the things that he had done, he built a house out in the Shomron. He would volunteer on the farm out in the Tzuf, and he built a house out there. Again, not the houses we live in on a regular basis, but for Binyamin, it was his house, and he was very proud of it. And again, no insulation, no running water for a few years, no electricity. It's all solar paneled or, generators. But let me tell you something about Binyamin. I want to share a few things about Binyamin, and then we'll start tying this all in together. Binyamin is somebody that if we had to, he's known for his simchas hachaim. He's known for living life and really living, and with such joy. And the reason is, when we learn about Binyamin, there are different things that he, even from the age of 16, aspired to. He made a list of all the things he wanted: to be without a smartphone, because he learned at the age of 16, he already understood he wanted to be present. He didn't want to be distracted. He didn't need to be taking pictures. Unfortunately, it means I don't have so many pictures of him from the army. He never wanted pictures. He just wanted to be in the now. Reminds you a little bit of Kohelet. He wants to be just here. He wanted to be enough. He wanted to be modest. He wrote this when he was 16. He didn't want to have all the fanfare. He didn't want materialism. He didn't want to hold, he didn't go after gashmiut. He just wanted the simple, the pure, the focus, the modest. Binyamin was a man that loved the land. Binyamin worked on a farm, as I said, but he actually he planted a vineyard, literally, Erev Sukkot, he planted a vineyard. And somebody says, oh, because he loves wine. No, because he loves land growing. He plants what will be, and obviously, he didn't finish everything. He didn't, not obviously, you wouldn't know this, but he planted the whole vineyard, Erev Sukkot, thinking he's coming back to finish the job and put the irrigation system in, and he never got back to the farm. And not everything made it, but he did it. And that was his focus, to be in the now, to plant now. What will be doesn't matter. I'm doing what's right for right now. And everything, this is how he lived his life. With the simple, with the focus of the land, the focus of I'm doing what I am meant to do. He was very big into Torah Eretz Yisrael, to Am Yisrael. This is what he lives with. His whole life was, or his last at least 5 years, was Am Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael, and Torah Yisrael. Again, this is his focus. And when I say Simchat HaChaim, trust me, I was explaining to Hoshanna, he would sit with his coffee, he would chill in the morning. But then once he started, like, do not stop him, do not get in his way. He couldn't during Corona, he can't sit still. He doesn't want to just wait around, lay around. He doesn't like watching any, because he has to do. He's a man of Asiyah. I say there's a difference between Ruchani and Gashmi. We always say Ruchani and Gashmi are the two opposites. For Binyamin, it was Ruchani and Ma'asi. Those were the two that went together. He needed to do. So this is a boy who really, really, if I feel like, lives Kohelet. This was very natural to him. And I think that when, as tonight is his birthday, he is a man that is incredibly connected to David HaMelech. Many people have described him like David HaMelech, and I'm sure the youngs can say the same thing. All our soldiers are like David HaMelech, fight with bravery, but there's the most gentle souls, and they can sing and they can dance. But then when they fight, it's B'Shem Hashem. They understand Hashem is leading the way. They have the greatest emunah. They're the leaders and these warriors that also are so kadosh. But I say about Binyamin, he has one up on your son, and that is Binyamin. Also, you use David HaMelech's tool of tshuva. He lived with tshuva. You would believe that if you fall down, you get back up. And if you fall down again, you get back up again. I'm sure your son was holding just fine. He didn't need to fall down and get back up again. But Binyamin, this was his life. Cycles of tshuva. But this is, I think, that now that Kohelet, written by David HaMelech's son, obviously Shlomo got it from someplace. Shlomo took all of that he learned in his father's house. He learned from David. And then he gathered his wisdom, gathered his experiences, and then over the course of his life, then built on that. And this is how we got to Kohelet. So just a tiny piece then of pulling it all together. You know, Rabbi Sachs, I'm sure, I feel very, I was explaining to Hoshanna, I don't understand Kohelet so much. I'm actually very underqualified to be standing here. I can only speak about Binyamin and a little bit else, but Kohelet itself seems so elusive still to me with whatever I've been trying to learn. But the pieces about Rabbi Sachs, I think if there's anyone that can understand Kohelet and express it, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs is definitely a great tool. And he explains it very simply. Joy is the combination of thanksgiving and humility and gratitude, all the things that any modern science psychologists would all agree that they, got all their great degrees in school to learn this and to teach this. But Rabbi Sachs is on another level. But joy is being in the moment. And this is what all modern psychology is trying to teach everybody and everything that we have learned this year. We have learned this year that we can't plan. We don't know what will be. And if we think that we should, are we planning a trip? Are we going out of the country? I remember back in January, we thought we were going to get rockets from the north. And my cousins, I don't know if I should leave the country. And then in the summer we were away. And my kids said, one rocket from the north, we're coming home. And we were waiting. Unfortunately, it did start. But we're putting our lives on hold. We don't know what it's going to be. Maybe I won't start this project. Maybe I won't build this yet. Maybe I won't. If there's anything that we've learned from this year, it is just do now. Be now. We don't know what will be. We have all learned this piece. We've learned that we live in the moment. We've learned that when there is a wedding, we all dance like we've not danced before. And then we go right afterwards. You can go to a Beit Avel and you cry with the people because that's what's happening right now. This is what our nation has been doing, like the rabbi was also referencing. We carry both, we do both, and we switch gears. Yes, Simchat Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaTzmaut has been preparing us for many years. Right now, we can say, Hodu Lashem ki tov ki le'olam chesed. And if we can say it right now, we say it now. What's going to be? We don't know. That means that right now, like Rabbi Sachs is saying, right now we express gratitude. Right now we have the Thanksgiving. Right now we say Mizmor LeTodah. We don't know what will be. And then, as we know, this one sounds a little hard to say, but Rabbi Sachs was also talking about this, that yesterday is gone. But tomorrow we don't know. So that is what we have to do now. It's a little hard because I do feel we have to carry yesterday with us. I'm not ready to let go of yesterday so quickly. I carry yesterday with us, and I think that we're all carrying around yesterdays with us, a whole year of yesterdays. But tomorrow, it's true, didn't happen yet. And that is, I think, brings us back to the piece in Kohelet, where we learn that it is all about contemplating to us what is most important. And that is what we learn at a Beit Avel. And that is why going to a Beit Avel trumps any simcha that we go to. We're simcha, we're dancing, maybe with some wine, with some alcohol, with some not, just some great music or not. That's one thing. But when you go to a Beit Avel, you realize afterwards what is important and what matters and what are the characteristics of what I want to learn from. But also we learn what's not important. You're at a Beit Avel, you're hearing all this mesirut nefesh of somebody, or that somebody was struggling when they were sick, or that somebody got into an accident, chas v'shalom, and you're realizing, oh my gosh, all the other things I was worrying about, the construction of my house, I was worrying about where I'm going to buy that next outfit. Oh, I was worrying about where I'm gonna. You realize actually that all these things, all the materialism doesn't matter. You go to a Beit Avel, as Kohelet is talking about, and you actually internalize what's important. So if there's anything to take away from this year, it is to learn from all the Kedushim, every single neshama that went up to Shemayim. We are learning all their greatest attributes and their greatest skills and their greatest midot and their greatest accomplishments, because we are supposed to be learning from them and learning what's not important. And if there's anything to gain from the sukkah, from the fragility in life, from the uncertainty, it's understanding bidiyuk, exactly what Kohelet is talking about, of focusing on the now, focusing on what I do have, focusing on the midot that I want to have, of how I'm going to serve Hashem, and that my whole life is nothing short of being part of something bigger in serving Hashem. Every person, I say this where I go, because I think it's actually a very important message, that while this crowd is not serving frontline in the army, I'm going to assume that. Actually, your son who's here, maybe, he's serving, but we're not serving, maybe you are, I don't know. We're not, most of us, I'm not serving frontline in the army. But we also know that there's not anything in this world that is extra. There's not anyone in this world that is extra. And if you're here, it means you are needed. It means you have a job to do. It means that you too are a soldier for fighting this war. Because if you're here and Eretz Yisrael is in a war, it means you have something to do. It means that everybody here has something that is for them, their specific, unique job just for you to be doing. And I think that that is really ultimately what we are here for. And if there's something that Shlomo is teaching us also, Shlomo Melech is also teaching us, we all have our abilities. We all have the kelim that we are enjoying this music. I feel like I'm ready to dance. I don't know. Maybe it's just my sounds like a fun party. But if there's anything that Shlomo is also teaching us, is that we are given exactly what we need, and we have it inside of us to do our job in serving Hashem. As tonight is Hoshanna Rabbah. To me, like the Rav was talking about, to me, it's always been a very kadosh day. It's been a very significant day. In fact, I'll even just back up a little bit about Binyamin. We have 6 children, Baruch Hashem. We made Aliyah 18 years ago. We live in Ramat Beit Shemesh. We've been there the whole time. We made Aliyah with 3 children. Binyamin's our number 2. And then we had another 3 afterwards. When I was in labor, first of all, so Binyamin already gave me issues. Even before, I was on bed rest for 4 months with him. He already was teaching me, Jen, you have no control, mommy. You think you're in charge. You think you're this. You have no control over anything. You have to stay in bed. Somebody else is going to food shop for you and cook for you. I'm already teaching you the lesson, mommy. This has been Binyamin telling me, I'm already teaching you. Let's go be in the now. And then when my daughter, my oldest, was born very quickly, so they tell me also, in addition to the bed rest, but as soon as you feel anything, you have to go to the hospital quickly, so it's safe. I went to the hospital, okay, in the middle of the afternoon, but my husband wasn't there. He says, okay, I'm coming. I'm at a meeting. I'm leaving. I'm coming right now. I said, no. Hoshanna Rabbah is not for another bunch of hours. You have time. He says, you go very quickly. I said, Hoshanna Rabbah is not for a few hours. He says, you sure? Yes. Go to your meeting, come back afterwards. I came back a few hours later, and that's when things eventually started. And then, okay, he was born after Tzeitzah Kokhavim. He's going to be my Hoshanna Rabbah baby, because Hoshanna Rabbah is the day to say, it's not done till it's really, 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 really done. And you can fall and get up and fall and get up and keep going. And this is what Binyamin always represented, just like David HaMelech's tshuva. And just like we know, even with now, Hoshanna Rabbah, I know we went through Rosh Hashanah. I know we went through Yom Kippur, but you have another chance. You didn't keep to all the promises you were going to make already. Don't worry. You didn't do all the davenings and all the whatever you said you were going to do. It's okay, because now Hoshanna Rabbah is coming. Refine it. You have your chance still. It's that extra little bit of, like the Rav was saying, another little bit of Yom Kippur. And so we started tonight. I was hoping to I sent out some WhatsApps about starting a Tehillim program just for tonight. I know it's a minhag to go through Sefer Devarim during Hoshanna Rabbah night, but also to do Sefer Tehillim. And usually I stay up Hoshanna Rabbah, and that's one of the things I do, saying Tehillim. So I just encourage and invite everybody that to please join in. And I can send you our link, but the truth is, you don't need it. You can just do your Tehillim, add a few extra capitals of Tehillim tonight in addition to whatever else. But Mamash, the same way. We missed you yesterday at the event in Yerushalayim. There was an event for bereaved families in Yerushalayim. And on my way home, somebody called me up from England and he said, Jen, a Rav that's there. He says, can you just tell us, I don't know what to tell my Kehillah about dancing on Simchat Torah. I said, I can tell you what I think. I could tell you my opinion of how I'm going to dance, but I don't know if that's okay. I didn't know if it was okay with families who lost their sons or daughters or fathers or mothers on Simchat Torah itself. Binyamin didn't die until 5 weeks into war. So I felt I was not adequate to say, great, Jen thinks dancing is wonderful, without making sure it's okay with friends of mine who lost their children or parents on Simchat Torah itself. So I spoke to a few of them, and the answers unanimously were going to dance. Again, what will be? We don't know. We might get to Simchat Torah itself and say, no, I can't. And that's okay. My plan, though, and everyone's plan, is to actually appreciate and express the Hakarat HaTov that we have this Torah that is Kulo Emet. When we're living in a world of absolute sheker, an absolute world, a world that I don't even know how you really feel Tola Eretz Al Blima, like how is this world even still standing? But we know when we have Torah, the world is still standing. When I know that I talk to Hashem through learning His Torah, I hear Hashem talking to me when I learn His Torah. When I know that the Torah is the only thing that gave me any comfort, came to Tisha B'Av, it felt like, I'm sure, Chantal, and then Tisha B'Av, I'm sure everyone felt that every Band-Aid was like pulled off, every raw wound is exposed. There's nothing that can give any nechama except for me until we read the Haftorah. And we start reading Yeshayahu. And we start reading his beautiful nivuot. And you're like, wait a minute, you know what? It's going to be okay. This was all in the system. This wasn't anything new. This wasn't anything that came out of nowhere. This is built into our Torah. That things happen. And we also unite, build, and pick back up. So I know Simchat Torah, I'm looking forward. We actually have a Sefer Torah that was dedicated to Binyamin. I'll just tell you a quick story about it because it's significant you'll see. The Sefer Torah was written and we brought it to Beit Binyamin, the retreat center in Tzfat. And from there we danced with the Sefer Torah to Binyamin's yeshiva. He learned in the Hesder yeshiva in Tzfat. So we danced the Torah from the house in the old city and we brought it to his yeshiva. We felt like we were bringing his Torah. We were bringing Binyamin back to yeshiva in the form of a Sefer Torah. We were dancing really through the old city under a chuppah. My husband's holding the Torah. I'm standing next to him and we felt like we were under a chuppah, under Binyamin's chuppah, escorting him now to yeshiva. And so this Sefer Torah, then after it was dedicated, we actually brought it back to Ramat Beit Shemesh for that Shabbos, because that Shabbos now, we brought it to Ramat Beit Shemesh because that Shabbos was our Yaakov's bar mitzvah, and we wanted Yaakov to learn from that Sefer Torah. So we bring it back to Beit Shemesh, and we felt like Binyamin was with us. And then we brought it back to Tzfat. On the way back to Tzfat, this is another little side story. One of the things Binyamin wrote when he was 16 is he wanted to go to Rashbi. He wanted to go to Kever, the grave of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, which we always thought was very weird because we go there decently often, relatively often, at least once a year, sometimes more. Like, why did he want to say, that's on his list of things to do is to go to Rabbi Shimon? Okay, so on the way of bringing the Sefer Torah back from Ramat Beit Shemesh to Tzfat, we stopped, the person driving it stopped at Kever. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai puts the Sefer Torah down on the bima right next to Rabbi Shimon. He says, now Binyamin went to Rabbi Shimon. Yafeh. But we brought the Sefer Torah back now to Ramat Beit Shemesh in time for Simchat Torah. For now, I wanted our Kohelet, even though I know Binyamin wants to stay in Tzfat, but too bad, now I'm in charge, I think. But we brought the Sefer Torah back to Ramat Beit Shemesh so our Kohelet can hold and dance and feel Binyamin's presence. But I think that really this is what it's about. This is really all about understanding that if we didn't have this Torah, we would not be existing. If we wouldn't have our Torah, our emes, our words of Hashem, our nivuot, our mitzvot, everything that is inside of our Torah, if we didn't have it, you're right, we have no reason to dance. Because we would be like the rest of the world of Hevel Hevelim. But we have our Torah. We have our direct connection to Hashem through our Torah. And this is definitely what we hold on to. Bless you. We hold on to this and we dance with it like we've never danced before because this is what we have. This is the only thing we have. And this is exactly Kohelet in his beautiful work of understanding there is nothing else that matters. We hold this Torah, we dance with this Torah, we believe in our Torah, we believe in serving Hashem today. This is what we do today with absolute gratitude, with absolute hakarat hatov to Hashem for all that he does for us on a constant basis. The fact that I am here right now. So with that, I would like to give us all a bracha. that Be'ezrat Hashem, we will be feeling inside and outside with complete full hearts that we are ready to dance, not just for us, for all of the soldiers who wish they can be in shul. You know, I think about this, by the way, that unfortunately with the party, first of all, the party last year, Nova Party, they wanted to dance. A little confused maybe of where to direct it, how to channel it. And now we have reason to dance. I said, I want to dance for those now who can dance. I want to dance for the soldiers who wish they could be home dancing. I want to dance for the hostages who wish they could be dancing. I want to dance for all the people who died al Kiddush Hashem at the party wanting to dance. I want to dance for all the neshamot who are also dancing up there. I want to dance with them. I wrote a piece that I'm sure if we keep our ears open on Simchat Torah, we're going to hear a lot of rumbling of all of them dancing so hard up in Shemayim because they are dancing and we just should be joining them in their dance. So Be'ezrat Hashem will be zocha to reach this level of up and down, our feet barely touching the floor because we're reaching higher and higher. This is the dancing. We raise, we jump, we feel, our hands are reaching up and holding on to our dear life, the Eitz Chaim life, our Torah life, holding on to our Torahs for dear life and dancing with them, not just around them, but holding them, hugging them, with all of the neshamot that would want to dance with us. So Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be zocha, and we should be able to utilize tonight's Hoshanna rabbah koach of Tehillim and learning and fine-tuning all the things that we want to work on and take upon ourselves. So we should have that last bit of brownie points up in Shamayim to be zocha, a beautiful year of kedusha, of or and simcha, and nachat, and good health for you and everybody. Be'ezrat Hashem, shenizkeh.
Amen.